Sure. There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Would you like to start an intro since you're the event host and all?
Okay. What's the program called?
It's a Don't Be That Guy spin-off, so it's a collab between you and me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so you could just like introduce how I like, reached out to do like a collab spin-off and then like we're gonna introduce the topic.
All right. Sure. Hold on. Give me a couple of seconds. Okay. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very, very special edition of Don't Be That Guy. As you can see with me is the art of body bending. Let's give her a big hand. To those who are wondering, this is not a regular episode of Don't Be That Guy. It's still not back yet, but this is a very special collaboration I'm doing with her. She did reach out to me a few weeks ago, and it's a very interesting point of discussion that we'd like to, because and correct me if I'm wrong. But wait, what do we call you first before we
Carla.
get into it? Carla is
Yeah.
so we because art of body bending is a little too long.
Yeah, my
But
nickname is AoB. You can use when you're
AOB.
referring to me as an artist, it's AoB.
Okay. So AOB over here, and I have like obviously we're totally like two totally different people. But one of the very few things that we have in common is that we've been working in the creative space for a very long time in a freelance capacity, and I think like given our experience in our relative fields, I think it's going to be like a rich discussion about like whoever's watching that might be interested in jumping into that, or just genuinely curious about what life is like being a creative person with. A day job, as I call it, a secret identity. That's what I refer to it as. So we'll be talking about that, balancing all of that, how um, how the environment is, whether it's like because in every endeavor there's always a certain level of toxicity and hostility, and like how to navigate through that, our experiences, all of
That's the
that.
juicy part, but you gotta wait for it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. It's
as the
going to be
show goes
towards the end.
on.
Yeah. Plus, the other people who've been listening to my stuff and watching me like can't like would be surprised if I didn't at the very least complain at least one time. So don't worry, you guys will be getting that. So,
Of course, you'll be getting it from
Carla,
me too, which is like for some of you may be a surprise, but man, you don't know. You
yeah,
don't know something.
yeah.
But
So,
there's a twist to it
mhm,
since this is a collab. So yes, it is a rant if you're here for the rant. And it's here like
mhm,
juicy tidbits on like, scandals that have happened. But since we're here, like there's kind of an opportunity to transmit that energy. Yeah, like
yeah,
we're here to just like put the truth out there because the people who think they can get away with it, you can't. You can't. But after we do put it out there, there still leaves the job of like, what can I do with that information to like, make sure this doesn't happen to me or like make it like a better place just for every human being who's there, including the
mhm,
perpetrators, because they will, they'll be in a better place when they can no longer do those things.
exactly. And it's especially it's tougher for us like freelance creatives in a third world country. Like so it's just layers upon layers of like challenges. Just in order to like have like a livable environment. But before we jump into that, I wanna catch up. What's up, Carla?
Yeah,
How are things
I
with
think the
you?
last time we saw each other was three
Your
years
music video.
ago. That was
Yes.
2021. So it's, yeah, pretty much
Hmm.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
how's
and I
life
have to
been
say,
with you?
I had a lot. I had a lot of fun shooting that music video. To those who don't know, I was one of the talents for one of AOB's music videos here. I played a bad guy, which I've always, well, which I always love. This giant guy it was so much fun. These days, though, I'm not doing a lot of. I took a break. Like pandemic hit us, I haven't been as out as I want to be. I don't. Well, not want. I think to answer your question, I think I've enjoyed. It's a weird reaction to the lockdown. I enjoyed the isolation too much. So now that like it's time to do shows again, I'm not really in a hurry to do it. I'm planning on doing shows again soon, so watch out for that, please. But right now, I'm just generally chilling, living my life. What about you? What's up?
Well,
What's up
I'm
with
so
AoB?
honored that I got you out of
Mhm,
that like hiatus at least for a while. Like I've been going through the same thing because I
mhm.
have an injury from a sports
Oh,
injury, and it hasn't healed for the past 6 years, and it's been like, it's been bothering me a lot. So I've been in and out of like doctors' offices and physical therapists
Jesus.
and personal trainers. A lot of there's lots of things that aren't working, but there's lots of things that I am learning. So I'm before I put myself back there again, there has to be like a strong foundation of me repairing that damage.
Oh
And
my
the
God.
same,
I'm
it's
sorry to hear that.
also me repairing all of the damage that happened after I produced 13 music videos using
Yeah.
indie artists with no regulated industry to keep track of their actions. So yeah, there has
Yeah.
been a lot of scams that I've had to like put together. But I am glad that like I'm so glad that I cast you. That was like one of the best decisions that I made because it was a cartoonish type of video, and it's
Yeah.
totally made sense that you were like 7 feet tall and I was like this tiny. Like, just from your presence alone, it already created this like, this huge like message. It literally like a huge
Yes.
message, like, of
Uh-huh.
power plays. And like it just looks so damn cool. We didn't even need you to put you on stilts or anything. You already looked like a big scary guy. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for saving me those visual effects.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you mentioned earlier, like you were glad that you managed to get me up. Like, here's the thing: I'm still on hiatus. It's just that you, Carla, like, you're on a very short list of people I don't say no to because I'm a big admirer of your work.
Oh,
So yeah,
I never knew. I never knew somebody had me
yeah,
on a short list of people they don't say no to. Could I
yeah.
ask, like, what got me there?
Uh, I'm very like well, this this is gonna sound weird. I'm very unprofessional in a way where like I only like working with people that I genuinely enjoy, like whose company I genuinely enjoy.
Oh my
Like I'm not one of
goodness.
those. Yeah, I'm not one of those people. Like okay, so we do the job, we work together, that's it, and then afterwards, like no, I'm not. I'm
Oh
too
my
old for that.
God.
But yeah, so like. I'm very what's this? I'm very particular with how I spend my time and who I spend my time with. And like remember the show? Like I know I had to leave early,
Yeah, you
because
said.
of other commitments.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the entire shoot. I don't know if you remember. Like I'm pretty sure you never saw me complain or get tired because I just generally bounce off the energy of my coworkers. So I always prefer to work with people with
Oh.
really good energy.
Oh, well,
So
I'm so glad I have a good energy.
yeah, you are. And
Yeah.
like you're very like you're hardworking. I admire that. You're hardworking. You're like super indie, which is definitely admirable. Like I love like you fucking wrote the song, you sang the song,
I
recorded it, produced your own
yeah.
music video. So that's
Directed it, acted as
yes,
a talent.
everything.
Yeah,
And like
every single
and you
thing.
never like you never showed any signs of stress or anything. Like I know it was a stressful time, knowing what's it like producing things, but like on the set you had just really great energy, and I love that. Like the people who work with me know that I'm very like the moment I see someone else on set or on stage that's not 100% like a cool, I also lose it as well. So over the past several years, I've been very picky. That's also another reason why I haven't been doing shows a lot.
Yeah,
So,
same.
mhm. So
Yes.
yeah.
Have you ever like gotten in trouble for like, voicing out your opinions when you do see people who are like that?
Oh, lots of times. I'm, I am a very I wanna say this as diplomatically as possible. I think I'm one of the I don't want to say hated because that's a little too much, but I think I'm like the perception of me like is very polar.
Is
Some
very what?
people, the
Sorry?
people
Vulgar?
polar,
Polar.
polar,
Yeah.
polar. Yeah, yeah. Like the people who like me, and the people who don't like me really dislike. So I don't think there's anyone who just like takes me as like yeah
Oh,
whatever.
she's
But
okay.
so it's
There's
always
never that kind of
yeah.
reaction. I'm exactly the
I
same. Yeah, and
Mhm.
like, I really just thought you were a professional guy. Like I never, I think you're such a nice guy, but maybe that's because I am on that side of you that, so
Yeah.
appreciates the vibe, but I don't think that like I would be on the other side. And but like you were so
Okay.
professional because like you were on time, you were like you were available to have video meetings and like you really remembered everything I said to you. That's something I appreciate about you because my concepts are super complex. It's like a
Mhm.
history lesson, it's a geekery lesson, it's a performing arts lesson, it's like all together, and you actually have like a brain that's, bigger than you. You were really able to take
Thank you.
you were able
Well,
to
yeah,
take all of that in and you kind of synthesized it and added your own spin on it. I really never felt like you were just following instructions at all, which I really appreciated because you were able to like bring an output from what I gave you, which is more than I can say for other people who, they can't even think to synthesize it and they can't even follow instructions. I'm so
well, it
surprised.
helps that it was a really nice. It helps that it was a really good song. I dug the song,
Mhm.
and I dug the concept. I like
Right.
the like even the venue you picked. What was that called? That place with the old stuff.
It's called
It just
Pande Americana. So
yeah. There
it's
you
a
go.
restaurant and uh as an indie artist, I do not have the funds to have any form of set design whatsoever.
Hmm.
So I have to be really, really creative. I have to just like canvas all the places in the metro I can think of. And from those places, I have to think of a story around those places. And what I loved about Pande
Yeah.
Americana was that there were like 17 different venues in a venue.
Hmm.
So it like
Yes, exactly.
my mind really went wild. It was almost like an amusement park of sorts. And okay, I'm gonna make a story here. Okay, how can my story fit around this room? So actually, like I already had my own story about like 1940s women and that,
Hmm.
power discrepancy between women and men, people who have money and people who don't have money. And then like the challenge was you have this space, you can't change this space. So how can you tell the story using the props in that space? And I think that's not something that I just did. It's something that you also did. So I really enjoyed our collaboration because it's like I remember you were carrying like chess pieces that I never told you to do
Yes.
that, but it totally fit. And just so many parts of the video were hilarious because of you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Again, like the venue you picked, the everything, like everything just came together. It's just it was very nice. Like as an actor, like there's so many things that you can play with, especially like me with some background in improv. So it was just like for me, from a creative standpoint, it was like a playground
I
for me.
know.
Like how do I use these without my main thing is that a lot of I've noticed this with a lot of comedians. Uh, a lot of them just try to be funny, like regardless of like whether you're steamrolling through the concept, because that's one thing I was very mindful of. Like it's not my project. I don't want to be the funniest guy in this thing because it's not my project. So like I'm here to help like bring life to this thing, to breathe life into this message. So the mindset is always like, how do I do that with my, because with my like whatever it is that I bring to the table, it should be brought with that mindset. Like it should go
Exactly.
towards that goal. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
yeah, you played a great supporting role because like you were paid to do that job. So it's like
yeah,
if it is the person's project, they are the client, and I think that the mark of a
yes,
good artist is that they can still be themselves within a paid project. That's the whole point. And
yeah, I
wow,
know.
I'm really surprised that you're telling me that I had such a good vibe because that I was like
Mhm.
so like so many disasters happened that day. I was like cursing. In my mind, I was just cursing the whole time.
Mhm.
And apparently you like that vibe.
Yeah, because I can tell because we had a bunch of meetings before
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and you told me like you showed me the shot list and the schedule, and like how it was like we only had one day to shoot, and it was
We had
already
three
lunchtime, and
hours
we
to shoot.
haven't.
That's a lot less than a
Yeah,
day.
exactly. Yeah, and it was already like lunchtime or whatever, and we still haven't gotten through a lot of the footage.
Yeah.
Um, so I know like I because I used to direct myself, so I know what it's
Hmm.
like, and I could
Hmm.
kind of not read your mind, but I know what you must be thinking, and the
Hmm.
fact that it's not coming out, like it's very easy for it's very easy for to take it out on your crew or your talent or but you didn't you just stayed your course and it's fine because like it's leadership by example, like
Of
you don't
course.
freak out, I don't freak out, it's that easy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That day there were like three people who couldn't make it. Like, as an indie
Oh yeah, I
artist,
remember.
when you pay for something, you can't just, pay for it all over again if something goes wrong. It's not a
Mhm.
fucking joke to like put together all of those people at the same time at the same place, because everything you're placing in there takes money. So it's like you're putting all of
Mhm.
your money
Exactly.
in one thing. And what I don't think people realize if they haven't been in a directing or producing position is that, if they just like back out on what they promise they deliver, they could just ruin everything. And like,
Yeah.
they don't even realize, because like a lot of people who are not from a leadership position can be very complacent about it, because it's like, oh, this is just
Hmm.
indie, I don't have to worry, because if I fuck this whole thing up, this woman isn't powerful enough to ruin me in the industry. Basically, that's how it
Exactly.
is. I really see the difference in how how I'm treated versus if there was like more status or more money. So you can
Oh
tell
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
people like they're there for what they can get out of it. So the person who was supposed to be the cop who promised she'd be there,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'd been telling her, I've been running her through it, like, for the past few weeks leading up to the production. On like the very morning of the event, just
Mhm.
said, I'm sorry, I can't make it. And
Yeah,
she was,
like I
yeah.
forgot that part of it because but yeah, I do remember you scrambling for a new actor for the role.
Yeah, imagine like
And
having to stay in
how did you
character,
find the
having to
yeah
play, an act, having to play that character, then having to play director, and then having to play like
yeah
assistant director,
y-
just calling
yeah,
everybody up. It
like
was
worrying
fucking
about that,
hell.
yeah.
And I had to finish everything in 3 hours because that was the
Yes,
budget constraint. Yeah. So if
and
I
I was like, you
if I
you were a fucking hero that day. Like the fact that you pulled it off, it was
yeah,
incredible.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I want to ask, like, how did you find the replacement? Because I never got a chance to ask, like, because I was, I was changing into costume, I was getting ready, and then I know that you told me about the problem with the person who was supposed to play the cop, and then like while I was changing, preparing, like reading through my goddamn notes, and then fucking all of a sudden there's this new girl that arrives. So how did you find this person?
Oh, how did I find her?
Yeah,
Or how did I
yeah, like
find the
how did
person to
you?
get, or how
Yeah,
did I find
the
her
new one.
performance?
Yeah, no,
I
no,
just
yeah.
literally
How did you
blew up
find the
my
new one?
phone asking any female friend, "Hi, are you free? I'll pay you. Hi, are you free?"
Okay.
And she was the one person who replied. So this person knew nothing at all
Yeah.
about
But
my.
was she also is she also an actor or just a
She's
friend?
not
Like,
an
okay, I need
actor.
someone to
She's
wear
not
this.
an
Yeah.
actor, but because of you, you pulled it off.
Hmm.
And like because like I realized that anybody can just, not deliver and fuck everything up. I make sure that like I kind of make sure that every job that I assign to someone is something that any idiot will be able to do. So this is the reason why I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's how it is.
I know, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, so because I had limited budget for cinematography, that's why I decided on it being like a steady camera, period, Charlie Chaplin piece, because the person has to do, all the person had to do was give me their tripod and their camera for a day. I didn't even have to hire them.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know anything about technology. So just in case I need someone to adjust something, it's better that they're there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I do have a similar experience with people flaking on me. Like in my experience, it was a show I was doing. Uh, I had th- four comedians and three spoken word artists. And you know how live shows are. You have to promote it in advance. So I've been promoting this fucking thing for like a month or more. So like because it's one of the shows that I do that I like so much because it's not
mhm,
stand up per se, it's storytelling.
mhm.
And I love storytelling. So I was so excited, and then two of the three spoken word people backed out, not just on the day, like a couple of hours before
Wow.
the show would start.
Did you pay them in
So
advance?
no, I know I do not. I know because like when I pay people based on ticket sales,
Mm,
so I wouldn't be able to. But to your earlier point, like I'm not I'm not a big name, so they I think that's the mentality behind them flaking. Like they just woke up, felt like not performing that night,
exactly.
and figured like it's not gonna hurt them in any way.
Don't be that
And
guy.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't be that guy. And I remember like one of those people messaged me like no, commented on one of my Facebook posts like months later, as if it wasn't a big deal, as if
Mhm.
skipping my show wasn't a big deal. So they just commented like, "Oh, I still owe you a show." Like, fuck you! You don't owe me a show. I'm never booking you again. Like, what do you mean you owe me a show? Like,
Yeah.
it's not.
How were you able to
Yeah.
rectify the situation?
I because they were supposed to do 10 minutes each. I just
Okay.
added 20 minutes on my set.
Okay. So it kind of became a solo
So
show.
not really, because I still have the other three comedians and the
Alright.
one spoken word person.
Yeah.
But like you could, but what we can do, for instances like this, is just that never book them again. And
Exactly.
like I don't wanna. I'm not a big fan of blacklisting people,
Mhm.
but I am like if you're going to ask me, like let's say that I worked with this person before, and then you're gonna ask me for a reference, I will be honest
Yeah,
because
of
I would
course.
I would tell you, yeah, I would
It
tell
is
you
it's
because
a social
Mhm.
responsibility, to
Yeah,
tell the truth about someone who's about to work with somebody else, because that kind of stuff should not happen.
yeah, like but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna proactively tell producers that I know
Yeah,
like, wait, this
exactly. Because
person
it's not,
screwed me.
honestly, it's not likely that they're gonna believe you anyways. I mean, like,
Uh-huh.
there's this strange social currency in the Philippines where it's like they believe people and they show up for people based on their allegiance with that person. It doesn't matter whether they're
Yeah.
right or wrong or if it's
Uh-huh.
true or not. If, like, for at that moment in time they're on that person's bandwagon, everything they say is
Exactly.
gospel truth. They will defend everything that person says. If that you say you
Mhm.
don't like that person, we're coming after that person. And then the moment that they decide that I'm not like I'm curious, I want to check other bandwagons, they're just gonna jump on another bandwagon.
I
And if
know.
that person on their new bandwagon doesn't like their previous bandwagon,
Mhm.
they're coming after that bandwagon. It's like there's a
Yeah.
general lack of backbone in this country in
Uh-huh.
general.
Yeah, when people generally don't stand on principle, like it's more of, and I guess it's another characteristic of like being in a third world country, so it's
Yeah,
always like it's ingrained, like yeah, whatever fulfills basic needs. So like this is what gets me paid, so I don't know, principle is a little low on the hierarchy of needs, I guess.
it is.
But yeah, so it's another reason not to kiss your ass so much, but it's another reason why I do like working with you, because I know, like, even though we don't talk a lot, I do see. I'm a social media lurker. Like, I don't comment much, but I do watch what everyone's doing, and I see what
Okay.
you post, and I know that you're a person with that would gladly stand by her principles, and whether I agree or not, I like principled people. Like I can
Exactly.
respect that. Yeah. So
Exactly.
it's hard. Yeah. I don't want to work with people I can't respect.
Yeah,
and
and like,
it's
I think you really
it's gonna
understand what it is like, to
yeah.
be in an environment with people like that. And that's why you just can totally step up in situations like that as well. Because you were basically working with a non-actor who knew nothing about the concept. She just literally got
Yeah.
called in like 2 hours previously. And it worked so well, number one, because your acting was enough to carry the whole scene. And second, uh it was a slapstick type of movie. Like, it didn't require that
Hmm.
kind too much acting. It's and like the movements were very cartoonish. So like,
Yeah.
I'm really glad that like my friend, she understood that much. And like
Yeah.
yeah, she was
And
able
you
to
were
literally
lucky.
save the day. I was lucky. I mean, it could have
Yeah.
been a lot worse than that.
Well, I mean, like you were lucky that like she fit the uniform because
Oh,
the you had one piece of the police uniform, right?
yeah.
So if it didn't fit her, it's going to be an additional problem on top of like everything else.
Exactly, exactly. And I do know how to sew though. So yeah,
Oh,
you need to
really?
pick up you need to pick up lots of talents if you want to do something like this, because you can't rely on others to
Yeah.
like, have your back. Like I was like
I mhm.
yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was no, no, like a part of me kind of now wished that she didn't fit the uniform so I could see you sew. Because like I just thought it's a funny thing, like you producing, acting, directing, and then sewing
I
on the set.
know. No, no. You might have seen some
Yeah,
teeth from me right then if I had to do one more thing.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
a production lasts 2 to 3 days. Imagine taking on six roles. I was the director, producer, I was the talent, I was the assistant director, I was in charge of
Yeah.
costumes, I was in charge of makeup, and now you want me to sew somebody else's clothes? Don't be like like
I
it,
do
it was hell. Yeah,
mhm. Oh, I do
mhm.
remember like after that, that was in like what 2021, right?
Yeah,
We did that
2021.
video.
Yeah,
You had a couple. How many videos have you done after? Because I do
I
remember
have
seeing one or two
13
after that.
music videos.
No,
13.
no, like after the thing that we shot. How many have you produced?
13 minus 4, 9. I produced 9 afterwards.
Really? Oh,
Not
so
not a
like you were just
single one of them went by without someone screwing me over. Like
really.
yeah, it you I don't I don't know if you remember, but the only reason why the first half of the video was me dancing by myself was because the guy
Mm,
that I had hired to be there decided he was going to be 1.5 hours late. So
Jesus
like,
Christ.
these people are used to like 12-hour movie sets, or like, they just, and they think nothing's gonna start. But I'm efficient. I actually do start on time, even if I am a
Yes.
Filipino. And I absolutely cannot, because I only have, around 6,000 pesos to spare. Like, I am working
Hmm.
minimum wage. I'm doing all of the
Mm,
freelance jobs that I possibly can so I can fund that music video. So the only way for that
yeah.
video to happen was that I ate nothing but canned goods for 3 months. I didn't use my air
Oh,
conditioning for 3 months. I only
yeah.
had lights on, when it was absolutely dark and I needed to get
I
something.
dig it. Yeah,
So
man.
like, I'm taking this money from my own quality of
Yeah.
life, and that's something that like they don't even care to respect. I was really
That,
pissed.
that's the,
I'm
that's the thing.
glad.
That's a
Yeah.
key thing there. Like, well, they don't care. They don't care. Like for a lot of people, it's just their uh, paycheck. It's not about like okay, this is because there has to be a certain level of appreciation that you
Okay.
give to indie artists. Like
Yeah.
okay, this person is so I do like working on indie projects because of that.
Mm-hmm.
You see this person like putting their like mind and soul into this like I can't do anything less except offer the best that I can do when I'm on board, like but other people are just like it's fine, it's just a small project. I can miss it. I will show up an hour and a half late. I can cancel last minute. It's a respect thing, and you brought this up earlier, like it's like people would only respect someone based on stature,
That's not respect.
Like
That's
you
using people. Respect is
exactly
something
like
different.
yeah, I know, and it's a little like it's sad because it's like for supposed creatives, like what we do requires passion, and
Of course.
and not being like being like picking and choosing which projects you're actually passionate about. It's kind of like for me, like it's very counterproductive. Like if you can't give 100% of yourself to this project, don't take it, don't accept the project. Like it's
Exactly.
a
It's not just like professionalism and respect. It's also like just responsibility. It's just the basic tenet of like backing up what you say. I don't give a fuck how much you care about my video, okay? But like if you
Mhm.
said that you were gonna do it, I'm gonna
Yeah,
trust you to do it. Like that's your word, and I'm the kind of person who actually keeps my word, so I expect other people to do the same. But doing all of these videos in the creative industry have shown me that people do not do the same, even if they know exactly
yeah.
what's at stake. Yeah. So this person like shows up an hour and a half late. I had to improvise the first entire half of the video because he wasn't there. And when he's there, he's on his phone. He's asking me stupid questions. It's like, where's the director? He was asking me, where's the director here? Hello? Are you awake? Are you there? Oh, you froze. You froze. Hello?
Okay, I'm back.
And we are
Ah,
back to the special spin-off
ah.
episode of Don't Be That Guy with Rene Cruz and me, AoB. Some
Hey, we
Yeah, like we
technical
got
problems.
interrupted just as we were speaking of
Yes.
assholes. Maybe there's like some paranormal
Yeah.
activity going on. People don't want to be found out by this very special episode, but we will dish out the details anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like
well,
we were talking about that music video that you shot, wherein like your actor like didn't show up or showed up late, like 1.5 hours.
yes,
So tell
yes.
me the details of that. Like why, like how much time did you have to actually shoot? And what did he coming in late? What did that cost?
Well, it cost me to fly solo because it was a story about a couple, fucking behind your
Hmm.
back. And couple fucking behind your back, that conjures an image. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but I had 3 hours to shoot that, but he came in 1.5 hours late. And so he spent the entire video not being responsible for his
Ugh.
his shortcomings, and he was on his phone, he was playing the piano.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember
it was
that, and I really just had to just call his name and just not say
yeah.
anything. And he did still demand his talent fee and his food and his transportation right after, and I just gave it to
What
him.
a like
Cause
it's
like
not even like that's beyond unprofessional. That's him just being he's purposely being a dick. It's because you don't like show up late and then act like that. Like if it was a valid thing, like because I'm rarely late, but if I am, like I will do everything in my power to make up for lost time. Because
yeah,
I don't, yeah, I'm not gonna sit around playing on my phone and all of that. Because that's again, you're
it
you're
was
you're
more.
screwing everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you can still he was like the chillest guy there thinking he had the entire day. It was almost like he couldn't believe that I was the one carrying the entire thing. It's like he
Hmm.
was like imagining like, 12 apostles to come and support me, like seven dwarfs to come be my knights in shining armor, whatever.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time someone has done that. So like I get what you're saying that he must have been an asshole, but these people's like perceptions are just so skewed and they're just so ignorant that they actually think they're
Uh
not
huh.
doing it. They're actually not even doing it on purpose. Like they just think that like, this is just a little girl. She's probably just chilling when she doesn't realize that these are matters of consequence. I put myself in poverty
Yeah.
for this, and here you go
Hmm.
and mess everything up. He's not the first guy who did this to me. There's at least one guy who did. There's that guy who did this for every single one of my
Uh-huh.
music videos. So it is distracting enough to like be in panic mode doing six different jobs, good for 24 hours or
Yeah.
3 hours, with everybody not, owning up to their tasks. And then you go and
Hmm.
say, where's your director? You go and say, how are you going to shoot this? Do you know what to shoot this in? It's vintage, so it should be black and white, right? Are you going to do it sepia? As if I had no idea what my concept was.
Yeah.
So there's like,
Plus,
there's,
like, there was, I'm pretty sure you did your briefing with them.
oh, I did. I did.
Uh,
I told them
yeah, it's just
I gave
like,
them a history lesson and everything.
yeah, so like basically don't ask stupid questions on set on the day that we're shooting. Like,
Exactly. Like,
ask
why
all
did
of
you
that
not
during
understand the
pre-production.
assignment?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
Like,
supposed
oh,
to
on
do
the
it
day that we're
now.
shooting, yeah, on the day that
Yeah,
we're shooting, that's it. No more questions. Just fucking do what you're told to do because we're on a
exactly.
limited time.
Exactly.
Uh,
But
it's
there's an
just
extra
weird. Yeah.
burden that comes with being a woman because like, people just
Hmm.
don't take you seriously all the more. And when you do like uh call them out on it, like you will be vilified. You will be the victim. They're going to tell everyone that you're a bitch. So for me, even though I wanted to kick his balls at that time, I couldn't do it. I had to be like sunshine, rainbows.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
like
like,
you have to like you have to get through the day. You know, like
well, yeah. Just
it's
make
an
sure
old
everything
production
gets
thing.
done,
Like,
like not, cause
yeah.
more trouble than there already is. So there is that seventh rule if you are a woman, that seventh rule of like, being smiley and like giving
Hmm.
unpaid emotional labor, which I thought I had no choice in the matter until like, I kept on encountering these assholes over and over again. And I'm like, I do have a choice. And I'm not, I'm gonna
Yeah.
choose to be vilified by these people. So everybody else who vilifies can vilify with them and they can be out of my life.
Oh yeah, but what did you do after? Like, was there any? Did you ever work with this person again, or did this guy ever? These two guys, right? Did they ever try to speak to you after like making like after basically being dicks on set? Did they actually do anything after just to possibly make up or at the very least clear certain errors with you?
Nothing at all. It's as if they didn't
Okay.
do anything. They almost feel like they did something for me just by being there.
Wow. Okay. Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah,
And
and I know the feeling. Like I worked with people that I booked for shows that basically just showed up acting as if they're doing me a favor, and it's a again it's a terrible attitude to have.
mhm.
Like if I'm giving you stage time, like it's stage time. Like not
It's
everyone
an
gets stage time, you know?
opportunity. Do you know how many
Yeah,
people you could choose for that? And like it was entrusted
exactly.
to you, so really doesn't matter
Hmm.
who it is. Yeah.
So
So
yeah, so like, going back to the top of our conversation, it's why I have a short list of people I work with because it's a prevalent thing in our culture. I think it's I think creative work or at least freelance creative work because I worked in TV for so long. You would expect that level of standoffishness with people who are at a certain level, but that's not
yes.
actually true. Like they're
Yeah, people
professionals for a
on a
reason.
very
Yeah,
low level think they're very, very big.
exactly. So it's hard. Like again, like culturally, like people get away with so much shit. Like they get away with so much instances of
Because
unprofessionalism,
it's people
and
like
I
us who just like carry the burden for them.
yeah, and I'm actually surprised. Like the people still getting booked, even um like in your case, like it's a music video. One guy does that, and then like you would think like okay, like who would book you if you're like that, and then you fucking see that guy on another project
Mm-hmm.
possibly doing like so I don't know I don't know how that works but there's a certain like cavalier attitude with a lot of creatives, particularly in the performing arts. Uh, I think it's more of, since you ask them, that is like what gives them that, that big head.
So it's like
Because
I
in
was booked. I'm special. You want me?
yeah,
I will grace you
like
with this.
yeah, they didn't audition, they didn't earn the spot, so there was like,
Exactly.
okay, yeah, you came to me, you need me, I'm gonna show up 1.5 hours late. So
Yeah,
fuck that.
that's exactly like
Yeah.
why now I have like, I used to call untrusted friends, thinking that
Hmm.
like if you show them trust, if you show them vulnerability, like, I'm an indie artist, like I'm going out on a limb
Hmm.
here, thinking that they would have humanity of their own to like meet you where you're at. But no, it just, you show them your humanity and like they show just how little of it they have to give back. So like
Uh-huh.
humanity
Yeah.
is not humanity. It's a lot of people like are on a much lower space than that.
Hmm.
It happened again on my very next music video. Like
Okay.
this person who like demanded of, because I'm an indie artist, so people understand that I can't give them a full blown talent fee. Like I'll give them something
Yeah,
reasonable.
yeah,
It's within, it's within the range,
yeah.
but
Hmm.
like it's from my own pocket. Yeah, and like I can't pay that to an understudy, but this person like comes in also in the middle of my shoot. And in the middle of my shoot I was pole dancing. So this is how it's
Hmm.
difficult. Like you're in character and you're dancing, but you also have to mind the director side of it. So like right in the middle
Yeah.
of that pole dancing, I was like out of my character, because I had to step in the character of like, the person welcoming him, because like this is the first time I'm seeing him. And what's strange is that for us, like we don't experience the same kind of impunity that they do. Like they do something bad to us
Mhm.
and they can survive because they're with the same type of people who do that stuff. But like for us,
Yeah.
since we're on our own in our principles, if somebody doesn't like us, even if we didn't do anything at all, they can like rat off to us, and like we lose opportunities or we get hated.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I had to show like him an accommodating attitude. I had to welcome him, tell him what was going on. And in that fuss, I wasn't able to shoot in like the angles that I wanted to for my dance
Oh
performance.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh
it's
my
like,
god,
this
that's too
is what
bad.
happens when you spread yourself too thin. There's always something that's missing. And afterwards, like we had also rented the venue for 3 hours, but then,
Mm.
I was wrapping everything up, cleaning everything up on my own, the water that everybody spilled. And then I see him
Oh,
naked. I see him
like
naked.
wait, time out. Even those tiny tasks like cleaning up,
I'm
you did
I'm the one
those?
with
Like,
the trash bags at the end of the show. No one does it with me.
oh,
I,
no
I'm
one
like the
fucking help.
entire cast and crew, but I have to show my face no matter
Yeah,
how tired I am, and like, star in the entire production. Yeah.
that's terrible, man. Like, I can help out. It's cleaning. It's okay. So all right. So you saw this guy naked? Why?
Cause he wanted to get in the hot tub, cause I shoot in motels, so there's a hot tub, and he's
Okay.
like, hey, I'll drop you off. Why don't you stay with me? So we were in the hot tub together. For the
Okay.
first time I meet this guy in my own venue, and he's like naked beside me in the hot tub, and he
Okay.
was talking to me, and he's like, I like you. You're really nice. You're really nice. And then like we had a conversation, which I just couldn't like, I couldn't quite end because there was no
Okay.
polite way to get out of it. Can I just say, get your
Yeah.
naked ass out of this? I can't do that because like he's going to say, "Oh, that girl's such a bitch," and everyone's just gonna believe him.
Okay.
So there is this certain type of like privilege that somebody who enters your space gets to say about
Hmm.
you, because like you're not
Yeah.
either part of that group or because it has your name on it. The brand has my name on it. So if I show something
Yeah.
that's less than professional, I'm the only one who's ever gonna get blamed, even if it was everyone else. So yeah,
I get
like
it. Yeah. Mhm.
and it was so embarrassing because I had promised the venue 3 hours, and here I am breaking my word just for this person. Yeah,
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
like,
So
how did
it's
you
like
like settle that? Did you extend your stay in the venue? Because I'm pretty sure that would cost more. Or like, how? Well, what did you do?
Well, we just left, and I know the owner of the venue, so they're pretty nice
Okay.
about it. But it's just
All
I
right.
just feel so disgusted with myself that somebody's doing me a favor. I want to be as gracious as I can, but I
Yeah.
can't be as
Exactly.
gracious as
Yes.
I can
Definitely.
because these people are encroaching upon it. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I knew I wouldn't get asked, but like there's that person who feels responsible for it, and then there's people who don't. Yeah, so like something that
I
I
know.
learned. Yeah,
Mhm. No, no. I just
something.
wanted to add, like, it's a shame, like, the things that we're into, the things that
Mhm,
we're passionate about, the things that we
mhm.
want to do. The unfortunate part of that is that they can't be done alone.
They
Like
can't.
physically,
Mhm.
they can't be
Yes,
done alone. Like, because you need
exactly.
other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's different kinds of people. There are people who have that sort of stuff on their own going on as well. Then when you collaborate with them,
Mhm.
it becomes like a, one and one is three type of thing. Like you're really collaborating. But then there's other
Yeah.
people who are just like latching onto your project because they have no like thing going on their own. So they just like being a part of it, and they like being in that position of power to like be able to criticize it or like mock somebody while they're
Yeah.
doing it. It's their punching up approach because like we have something that they'll never have. But punching
Exactly.
up does not become punching up when that person is also an indie
Yeah.
artist. So I do get indie artists
Mhm.
because I think that they would know how it feels. But just like
Yeah.
the rest of the Philippines, it's this crab mentality of like you're in the same bad position as me, so I'm gonna try and like one up you here while you give me the chance. And the whole time they're like
Yeah.
smiling, promising you all
Hmm.
sorts of things, but like from the very start, like I found out in retrospect they were already planning to screw me over. So like now
Exactly.
I
And
have
it's not even like a,
auditions. Hmm.
yeah, like, no, I was just gonna say, sorry for that, but I
Hmm.
was gonna say, like, it's not even just within the artists, because I
Hmm.
actually went on. I do this in my stand up, or like you would always notice, like, even people around you can't
Hmm.
help it, but there's going to be like a certain number of people around you who are going to secretly wish that you fail because you're doing
Exactly.
something that they don't have the guts to do.
Exactly.
It Yeah, because it's just that, especially like they'll hang out with you, reap the benefits of being with someone who's doing
And learn
something cool.
everything they can possibly learn about you so they can use it
Yeah,
against you. That's
yeah,
why I don't talk
exactly.
to people. Yeah.
And but yeah,
Mhm.
like, but when you fail, like, they'll be the first person. Like,
Oh,
when
how
I was
did
starting out,
why did that happen? Tell me all about it. And they're like,
yeah.
they have this secret smile on their face, knowing that they
Hmm.
orchestrated the whole thing. You can't I cannot tell you how many people just say the nastiest things to me when I do my body bending. So it's like, it's also a form of othering. You know how Filipinos just think they can say whatever they can to someone performing because
Yeah.
it's like it's just entertainment for them. And it's like
Hmm.
we are creative, and that's something that they're not capable of. So they sort of dehumanize us in a way to make themselves feel less inferior. Another punching up technique. So imagine
Yeah.
me, I had this music video while I was dancing on top of a piano. It's hard enough to do that, but
Mm.
I'm a professional at it, so I do it.
Yeah.
And then and then there's all of these men standing around watching me and say, she's gonna fall, you're gonna fall, she's gonna fall, like while I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the moment I get off and having executed it perfectly, they all go up to me, and somebody says, "I thought you were gonna fall. Like I thought you were gonna fall. Like how is
Yeah.
that helpful to the production?
Like,
Why do you think your own stupid, inaccurate opinion is needed in my mind while I'm trying to execute this task?"
yeah.
Yeah.
Just fucking, yeah. I mean, like, just it's a thing. Like, people are very stingy with compliments. Like,
Not
I'm
not
not like,
exactly, not in my experience.
uh,
Is it with
like, no, no,
yours?
like, yeah, man. Like, it's a for me. Like, it's I'd rather people say nothing instead of, like, because whenever I get compliments, it's very rarely like, I mean, compliments from people I actually know,
Mm-hmm.
because I get compliments from strangers,
Okay.
which is again another weird thing, because strangers are more gracious to
Yeah.
you than the people that you consider like you're on your squad.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I like, I could do, like, let's say, do 10 really good shit,
Mm-hmm.
like 10 pieces of good work,
Mm-hmm.
and like a person like around in my circle would most likely praise probably just one and do it in a backhanded way. You
Yes,
know, like
yes, I get the
it's
exact
like
same
it's
thing.
like yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's physically hard for them to say
Mhm.
something good about you. And
Yeah.
again, I'm
Or
not saying
they do
like I
say
don't.
it. They do
Mhm.
say that good thing about you, but you like they just want to say that they feel bad that they see that good thing about you because they can't no one can see anything good about that. Like
Yeah,
I get this I get
you can tell.
mhm,
Yeah, you can
mhm,
tell that they're saying it
yeah.
begrudgingly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get so many backhanded compliments from strangers, but
Yeah.
all of these strangers are women. So it's like when I do
Mm.
like my nude performances, like very otherworldly, ethereal, there and I dress up in normal clothes after, they're going to say, "Oh, I didn't recognize you. You look so
With your
different
clothes on,
now."
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
yeah, I don't say anything, but I almost just want to say, "That's what all the insecure people tell me." Yeah.
Exactly. And I do like wait, you mentioned I was curious about this because you mentioned earlier about an injury and I know I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Is that why you haven't been posting a lot? Because
Oh
is
no.
that why you can't do the contortion thing because of an injury?
I'm still capable of doing everything I used to do and more, but
Okay.
I have like a shit ton of photos. They're like in the thousands, but I just don't feel like posting
Okay.
them for some weird reason.
I see. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like, it's sort of like the consciousness that, people are like, benefiting so much. They have when you put yourself out there like that, they can just use you as a canvas for whatever purposes they
Mm.
deem beneficial for them. And like for me, I don't want to keep doing this for them for free, So
I see. Okay.
I still have my subscription services, and I do have viewers for
Hmm.
that, but they pay me. They pay me,
Okay.
for my talent to create content and for my interaction with them. Because like it is like photos of me performing, people have to understand that. So it's not something that I would just I used to just love doing it for everyone, but like there's so many people who can take advantage of that also, like especially in the music
Yeah.
videos that I've been doing, because basically we're in a very intimate set, and I'm doing very
Mm.
intimate things that involve nudity, that involve like
Yeah.
spiritual intuitive movement, that involve storytelling. I really, my body, my emotions, my soul, they're firing at all cylinders, and like that puts you in a very vulnerable position. So you're basically watching a performance for free in like the most intimate way possible. So when you do a production with me, you have to understand that you are being witness to an honorary performance. You're not paid, and you have to respect
Yeah.
that. So when you're
Hmm.
watching a theater performance, you don't go shouting all sorts of things at the stage. You don't do that.
Yeah. You don't heckle. You don't heckle like you
Yeah,
don't heckle theater. You know.
exactly. But like here I am doing these music videos. People have a very special VIP seat to see something that, they would otherwise not have access to. And they decide to like, just be stupid about it. So
Like,
it's like,
like in what way? Like what have you heard? Like aside from the whole piano incident, what
well,
other things have you been told while you were performing?
well, it's not just telling. I don't know if you can relate to this, but gaze is also a thing. So it's like, I'm in a motel. There's no backstage or dressing room for me to just like, get off camera, like, stay in my own thoughts. Like I am like under surveillance the whole time from all of these people. So I don't get a break
Yeah.
from anybody's energy. And I'm very like, absorbent of other people's energy. So it can be me
Mm.
getting my makeup done in the makeup chair. And then there's this stranger that, my crew just decides to bring in. She's like the girlfriend of someone from my
Oh.
crew. And she's just going to stare at me like, I know she's very young. She's very young. So I'm sure
Yeah.
she's not doing it in a malicious way, but I can,
Yeah.
I can sense it. She's just like, observing me up and down. And like it's very dehumanizing because like at that
Mm.
moment when somebody is just staring at you without your consent, you're already objectified in their minds. So they're just like,
Yeah.
instead of respecting who you are, and like they're just trying to figure you out, you know? And like
I see. Okay.
yeah. I don't know if that makes sense to you, if you've ever experienced it,
It
but
does.
it's like,
Uh,
yeah,
it
it's like,
it
I
does. My
mhm,
my gripe about that is like these people work with you,
mhm,
like whether it's for that one project or whatever. Like, but I'm sure they know what you do, right?
mhm.
Even before the day of the shoot,
Yeah,
so they should
exactly.
have a pretty good idea of like
Yeah,
the type of performance is going to happen.
and observe
So like
proper
why
etiquette. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so exactly. Like why bring in strangers on set if you know the
Exactly,
type of content that's
exactly.
going to be done?
Exactly. I've never
Or at
been
the very
able
least
to
ask.
control that.
Mhm.
And they don't even think if you bring an extra person, that's extra money for me. I have to feed them.
Yeah.
I have to like
Hmm.
accommodate their energy. I have to explain things to them because my music videos are so high concept and they're just like, asking so many questions in the middle of it happening. So,
Yeah,
these
I think I kind of remember like a video of you like that's in a party,
in a party?
or basically like there's a crowd there because I remember
Yeah.
because it's been a couple of years and it's a crowd and there's you dancing and I kind of
Hmm.
like the visuals of that because
Yes.
it was so like it's so wild like all these people and you're at the center of it just dancing
Yes.
and everyone
Yes.
just living their lives in this party and I thought like
Yes.
visually it was
Mm-hmm.
really really good.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm gonna go through your videos later and
Yeah.
to see just so I could remember which one was it. But I saw
It's
clips on
protection.
Instagram. Yeah,
Yeah,
is
it's
that what it's called?
protection. Hmm.
Protection. So yeah, like I really dug that. So I was now that we're talking about the people you work with, I was curious because in that particular video you had a ton of people with you.
Hmm.
What was that like?
Uh,
Because the stuff we've been talking about, it was the smaller productions, and then there's
yes.
always like people that would stand out by being douchebags. But what
Hmm.
about this? Like it's I think it's one of the bigger projects you've tried to take on.
Hmm.
So how did that go?
Well, I'm always the director and the producer, but because you are a woman facing the camera, it's just so easy
Mhm.
for people to forget that you are the director and the producer. So that's not
Mhm.
actually my directive. I'm surprised that you liked it because I was also really uncomfortable the whole time. But like, it's
Oh
basically,
wow. Okay.
yeah, the person who was my cinematographer basically just said, okay, let's get the guys go. Come on, let's dance with her. Like,
Mm.
let's have you, me, like Carla, let's have you touching them. And then like, the cinematographer asked the guys, are you guys okay with being touched? Like, yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm like, I'm the one who's not okay with touching them. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
But
did you ever give your DOP carte blanche on like what to do? Like,
of
or
course, there's
did?
always a shot list. So everything that I showed you, that's
Yeah.
what I show everybody else. But
Okay.
everybody just feels like they can go off script and then like, just force that on me. And like with me, with every limb stretched,
Mm.
overstretched, trying to take care of everything, I'm not always able to stop them.
Yeah.
So it's,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm already in a vulnerable position, and then they still choose to like exploit that. Uh, you know, there uh have been some music videos where it was a collaboration between me and
Hmm.
like a production company. So with that, I don't always have a say in the entire creative direction. And then there was like, I really didn't know why they did it for me because I didn't know them. Like just out of Lucas said, you want to collab on music video, and they're like, okay. And then like
Mm.
in the middle, they said, is it all right if you take your clothes off for this one? And then like, in
Mm.
retrospect, I was able to tell that that was the moment they were all waiting for. So they just saw me as some sort of like exotic sideshow novelty, that like, this girl, she goes naked, let's
Yeah.
shoot her so she can go naked
Yeah.
for us. So
Oh my
yeah,
God,
it's really
that's terrible.
there's so much power tripping that does go on. uh just
Yeah.
because you don't have like some big bodyguards to like, push them around. Like it's nasty how
Hmm.
some people need to be pushed around just to do the right thing. And now I'm not even sure,
Yeah.
like, there's other people who take, if you are intimidating, especially if you're a woman, they'll take that against you also, and they're going to say, you're not nice, I don't
Yeah.
want to help you. So I don't really know how to be in social situations anymore, whether I should
Yeah.
like, be low key, like, threatening them, you better act right or else, or whether I should be nice,
I
because when I'm
see.
nice, I get taken advantage of. So there's also,
It's terrible. Like
yeah.
being put in
Mhm,
that position is terrible for you because again,
mhm.
like you can't win. So it's
Yeah,
either you play
exactly.
ball. You
Mhm.
play ball and then you feel bad afterwards, or
Yeah,
you
exactly.
stand up to these people and not work. It's
Uh-huh.
fucking that's insane. Um, what did for this video that basically they were waiting for you to take your clothes off? What ended up happening? Did you do it or?
Yes, I did end up doing it
Okay.
because most of my performances are nude. Like, that really
Mhm.
is my trademark, and I honestly don't mind. Like whether you see it in a good way or a bad way. Like I am capable of acting in my own skin. So that was like what I was directed to do, and I did it. But like, I really don't like how they did it, not to marvel in the art, but like just to
Yeah.
get a power trip out of that. So like that's when I realized nothing is ever free. These people are doing it for quote unquote free because they want to get something else out of it.
Uh
So
huh.
it's like I'm never sure what to expect when I'm dealing with these creatives. So it's almost like I was in a situation there that was better the devil you do than better the devil you don't, because I promised myself I would
Uh
finish
huh.
these all of my 13 music videos within these 3 years of the pandemic. Because afterwards, like I'll have to be adulting, I'll have to be like supporting my own life, and I knew that it
Mm.
wouldn't be possible for me to like just go and make my dreams all come true afterwards. And I was that was a very smart thing I thought of, because all of this inflation,
Yeah.
all of these people like desperate for
Oh yeah.
jobs, they're not really, no one ever really does anything for free
Mhm.
anymore. So I did,
Exactly.
it was very smart that I did decide to do that. I was able to foresee this happening. But towards the end of the pandemic, something strange happened that I never expected. And that's like I'm already sort of becoming financially stable. Like what? I never
Yeah.
thought this day would
You're
happen,
an
but here
adult
I
now,
am
yeah.
doing it. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So when that did happen, I was still in the middle of my 13 music videos. Because like even before I
Mm.
started on the very first one, I already had a vision that these 13 music videos would come together and tell a story. So if you notice,
Yeah,
like every
that's the thing. We never talked about this,
Mhm.
and I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I'm really curious. And I don't know if that was what you were driving at, but I want to know, like, why 13? What was the concept? Is it like an entire album, or what was it? Oh, tell me about the entire thing, please.
It was supposed to be. So every music video represents a decade of the 20th century. So the very first
Mm.
music video was in the 1920s, like, and every music video follows a decade, every other decade until the 2010s. And it basically,
Oh.
it basically highlights specific moments of like historical social issues. So with the 1940s, it
Mm.
was like, women being forced to work under like not so nice conditions. And like, there's always a
Mm.
resistance act that the woman does. So it's like I'm not rewriting history, it really did happen. But I'm just showing that like the many different ways people did react to that oppression besides just being a victim. So, our music video, like you were this boss who scammed me into thinking I can finally be a secretary in the big city. Then it turns out to be a brothel because you don't trust women to
Mm.
work. And she's like, you want me to have sex? I'm gonna have sex on my own terms. And that's why you know, I went sneaking around with your gardener, fucking him at
Yeah.
every corner of your house to clap back.
And we did that Scooby Doo thing, which I love so much, the
Yeah,
chase
exactly,
scenes.
exactly. Yeah, so that I'm talking about very serious issues, but there's always that level of comedy because like I can still live my life and be powerful even though all of those things happen. So I think it's always important to have that ray of sunshine, and that's my personality
Yeah.
anyways. Yeah, so it's like I started from like uh not having any budget at all until like I started like taking on lots of freelance jobs that actually paid okay. And that's when I was able to really like afford the logistics. And like uh this was an experiment that's like, okay, like I wasn't able to pay people like the full commercial price of their uh of like a talent fee, but now I did. As an individual indie artist, I actually paid towards like the last music videos, I was paying people the full commercial prices, the ones that you would get from an agency.
Mm.
Because like I had this, I wanted to test it out. If I give this much, will I get back as much? No, I did not.
No.
I did not.
Oh my
I got
God.
screwed over even more than I ever
Jesus
did
Christ.
not paying people. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, so it's like, when you get invited to work on someone's project, you know that it's their project. They paid you. They're doing this whole thing like for something,
Yeah.
for their own aims, and they are
Hmm.
entrusting you with a value to help make it happen because you say you do. But there's a certain level of respect that you should have for the person's the venue that the person paid for and the actual person that you are working for. But I did, hire this other person to make my last music video. And she really like laid out, these are my commercial terms, these are my commercial rates because I get paid to do commercial work. So if you want me, you need to step up to my rates. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And
Okay.
there was this one clause. So now I have contracts, which is like
Mm.
a smart thing that I finally did. And now I have like I shop around a little more. So this woman like seemed really promising. But in the clause where there was where it talked about the fee for the production day, uh the fee says this fee, it includes a free production assistant. And like I am not,
Oh, okay.
I'm extremely uncomfortable with strangers coming into my music videos because of what they do.
Yeah.
Like it's not just the looking, but like for example, I'll get to it. And I think, oh, how nice of you. Like you will get a whole entire person to work for me for you, but you're just charging a higher
Mm.
rate. So I felt indebted to that person. It's like, okay, I'll pay you your rate. I know it can be much higher, but I'll give you your full rate. And when
Yeah.
her production assistant arrives, like she just speaks so loudly as if she thinks the place is hers. Like I'm a very
Okay.
introverted person, whether you believe that or not. And like I was doing my makeup and I really had to concentrate because my makeup was like a demon. It's very advanced makeup, and I
Mm.
really had to focus on that. And she was talking like that. That is not how you walk
Okay.
into a venue with a client that is paying you. It's like you need to
Yes.
respect that this is not your fucking place. This person
Hmm.
might be busy, so it's like but she walks in and like uh I didn't want to call it out because here's the bad thing when like somebody else that you hired brings in their own hires. You don't feel like they're really under you.
Yeah.
So it's like more like you defer to that
Yeah.
person and they
That's
got
true. Yeah.
really close. So like my cinematographer didn't seem to have a problem with that kind of behavior. And here's what sucks about being in the third world. These incredibly rude behaviors are seen by normal as Filipinos. And like
It is. It is.
if you
It's
ask them
actually
to
like
behave,
yeah.
like they will
You're the
think you
bad
are
guy.
a bad person for knowing that when
Yeah.
they don't. It's like they don't want to be held to the same standard of behaviors as you because they want to sort of have like an advantage of being, I'm too poor to know this, I'm too unintelligent to know this, so let me just
Yeah.
act in this way because it's the only way
Hmm.
I can take some form of control in this world that I'm
Like
not
it.
a part of, in this world that whose
Yeah.
culture and etiquette I can never
Uh.
replicate. But what
And
they
it's
don't
it's a thing
understand.
like
Mhm.
they see it as a personal attack. Right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
exactly.
like it's like doing better is never an option in their minds.
Exactly,
Like you have
exactly.
to
They
take
don't want to
me
be
as I am
equals because
or
they
shut
don't
up.
think they can be equal to
Uh-huh,
you. But
exactly.
when you are confronting them, you
Yeah,
are seeing them as an equal because you see them as a human being who's capable of understanding these things. But
exactly.
they
And
don't
like
want to be equal
if
to
you
you.
don't,
They
mm,
always want to be down there. Filipinos want to be inferior so they can just punch up at you
yeah,
when it's justified.
yeah, and plus they seem to neglect the fact that if I didn't care,
Mhm.
if I don't see you as an equal, I wouldn't be calling you out in the first place,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. I would just
Mhm,
fire you
mhm.
here right there on the spot.
So,
But like,
did you
I
speak
couldn't.
with the did you speak with the director about her assistant's behavior?
I should have. I really, really should have.
Mm.
But like, you know, uh, the director. No, no, I'm the director. Excuse me, I'm the director.
Oh yeah.
People keep forgetting. Ha ha ha!
Uh-huh.
Don't be that guy. The cinematographer, like, she already kind of felt like she wasn't getting her way because like I said I will be here earlier so I have the time to get my makeup done, to get my costume done, so when you
Mm.
come I'll be ready. But and we had agreed that I would be there an hour before, she could come the hour later, but then she comes an hour before me because she insists that she has to be ready and she has to set up. And it's like
Okay,
that's
that's
very
weird.
nice and
That's a
all. I
weird
get
power
that and
play.
all,
Yeah.
but you are working for
Yeah.
me. So it's like
Uh-huh.
whatever I dictate, you kind of need to adjust to that because you are kind of working on
Yeah.
my time and my schedule, right? But like
Uh-huh.
like it's these situations where I kind of like am not able to speak up anymore because when I have spoken up to men, like they have like,
Mm.
taken it, as such a horrible thing. How could you do that? How dare you? How ungrateful you are. We're doing this for you. Do you know what you're
Mm.
playing with? This is a music video. You know how few people have a music video and we decide to do it for you? So it's like, me speaking up in a very clear, assertive way has never ended up well for me.
Mm.
So it's like, I have limited time to do this. I do not want to waste my energy going out of character to call this person out. Let me just like, deal with it. But that's a mistake because she never stopped. When I
Oh.
went naked, she went like like that.
Ah,
It,
the PA. The
yeah,
PA
the
did
the
that.
PA, the PA. So it's like,
Was she not
first of all,
aware
it
of what
doesn't
was going
even
to
matter
happen?
if you're working for me or not. You do not do
Yeah.
those kinds of reactions to any human being. But like,
Yeah.
my production, my cinematographer just seemed to just dote on her. And like,
Yeah.
there was already that like, trouble with her not being able to enter. So she like called me when I was on the way because she wasn't able to enter because they didn't know who she was. And she was like
I
stressed
was
because she was bringing all that stuff and they didn't let her in. Well,
mm,
dog, because you're not the client. So it's
yeah.
like, oh,
Well,
yeah,
like basically disrupting the entire shoot because they didn't bother to figure out like how they were going to get into the venue before the day of the shoot, right? Like
it's not
it's
it's not that. It's just that like if I was the client, like, everything
mhm.
and I went in there first, I would have been able to let her in smoothly. No more questions asked because it's my name on the booking. But
Oh
of
yeah,
course, she decides to
they
come
had
in
to.
before
Yeah,
me, even though she was told not to do so. And then, the staff, of course, they have to ask, who are you? Why are you bringing all of this stuff? And
yeah,
then, like, I end up in trouble for my own venue because it's like, who like you didn't say that another person would be coming before you. So it's like I already had it like
yeah.
all figured out until she did that.
That's another problem. So like people
Yeah.
don't care about other people's names. It's your
Okay.
name that's on the line. Like if the music video sucks, if the venue gets soured with you, it's your name. Even if it's not your fault, you're the one that's going to be dealing with the shit. And
Yeah, exactly.
again, it's very I keep using the word. It's very unprofessional, but it's also very cold because again, people
Cold.
don't realize like, okay, this is not my project. This is her project, so we have to respect that, and we have to
Yeah.
take care of this person's name.
Exactly.
uh
Exactly.
yeah, because I've had projects where like since like like uh and it's terrible. Like I am obviously yeah, you've worked with me, you know how I work. I'm very focused on the job. Like we do this, and I've worked with people
Hmm.
that are the opposite of that. Like they go like we would do shows like out of town shows or whatever. Like I love these guys. These guys, I see them as friends, but it does annoy me like a bit because like they show up or we're doing an out of town thing, and like their minds are like everywhere. Like, oh, they're gonna meet a lot of new people. They're gonna
Exactly.
drink at these
Exactly.
bars,
And it's
all
all on
that.
your
They're gonna
dime.
try,
Exactly.
yeah. Like they're gonna try to get laid, and then it's fine. I mean, that's all well and good, but focus on the job though, because if
Exactly.
you suck, it's gonna be on me because it's my name.
Exactly.
That's like on
Exactly.
the
And
thing.
if they do
Yeah,
anything messy, it's also your name. If they decide to like
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, go fuck the wrong person. But like, can I just
Yeah.
finish my story about that production
Yeah. Go for
assistant?
it.
Because like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
those
Sorry.
entire 12
Mhm.
hours, there was something nasty coming from her. Like while I was like in character. So
Mhm.
first she walks in like she owns the place while I'm concentrating, and
Yeah.
then she like just has unbridled reactions to me being naked. And then like here I
Mhm.
am pole dancing and everything. And she's like, "Where's your school?" So like, I understand that she's like on that level where she doesn't understand what she's doing
Yeah.
wrong, but it implies something. It implies that you're only who you are because of what you can buy, or you're only good because
Mm.
somebody else taught you. So in a way, it's like I don't even think she's aware of it, but it's her way of putting somebody else down, in
Mhm.
not to compliment me at all, but just like for her to like, see how she can get there. I'm not sure if that makes
Yeah.
sense, but it's so insulting, like, for you to be performing and say, "Who taught you that?" Or it's like, how did you get
Uh-huh.
that? And like I have bad experiences with pole school, so like I'm pretty much self-taught. But why do I have to explain
Hmm.
that while I'm doing my performance? And it's like,
Yeah. Like
yeah,
there's
and
a time and place for that. If
yeah,
you're genuinely interested, we can talk about that. But don't do it while I'm fucking hanging upside down, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. And then like cuz I'm very particular about my concepts. They're not mainstream at all.
yeah,
So this was like
I know.
this was it was a 1990s like tribute to like those cheesy horror films like The Craft or
Hmm.
Jennifer's Body, which is not 1990s, but like it's
Yeah.
those campy horror films that have like
Hmm.
connections to like mythology. So here I was like, doing something on the mythology of like Lilith and stuff. And then here I am doing it. And like it takes a lot to take your mind out from this disgusting world and into that like, that headspace, into that world. I'm like,
Yeah.
one of the only few people like exploring those sides. So it's hard enough to like stay in my world and in my character. And then she's like, "Oh, it's like the Taylor Swift song. Look what she made me do. Look what she made me
Oh
do." So
my
it's like,
god.
the only knowledge she has on like the demonic
Yeah.
literature is like Taylor Swift,
Mhm.
and it's so disrespectful. Like it seems
Yeah.
petty,
Look,
but
but
like it's my music
it's
video. I'm the one paying for all
exactly.
of this. I'm like right in the moment making sure this happens
Yeah.
because this video will be up on YouTube forever. It is the culmination of
Yeah.
everything that I've been working for, and you think it's up to you just to like run your mouth over shit that you don't even
Yeah.
know. And like it's just
It's
gonna, I don't know. It was
it's
just gonna end up
dismissive. That's
badly
my
for
thing.
me.
Yeah.
Like if I
Yeah.
did
I
call
think
her
it's
out
very
on it
dismissive.
because I would look like I
Mm.
was calling her stupid. So there is that like
She
thing
she
where
is though. Like if it's I'm sorry. Like based from what you told me, I can deduce that she's probably like stupid. I but
yeah,
that's
and
what
like
I'm saying. Like
the
it's
whole
very
time
dismissive.
the
Mm.
whole time like I was, between scenes, she was just staring at me like that. And like it's not funny when you are on the receiving end of it. It's
Yeah.
like, she
Uh-huh.
thinks
I
that
know. I
you're
know.
just somebody to be observed, somebody for her own entertainment. And it's like
That was
and it is extremely rude to stare at anyone if anyone has
of
forgotten,
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I look
But
back at her and she just started laughing. She's like, "What's your problem?" So it's like, and I'm like, I didn't say anything because I was really grateful that somebody would bring in another person to like work for me. But then I realized
yeah.
this clause on the contract says, okay, this is a higher production fee, but it includes a free production
Mhm.
artist. No, bitch, no,
Yeah.
bitch. I was paying for her. This entire time I was paying for her
Yeah.
because it was a
She's
raised
part of the
rate.
package. Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
so I could have been, I could have basically been putting her in her place, but I couldn't because she was under somebody else's contract. And that is why like
Yeah.
I always insist that every person that I choose is handpicked. Because like,
Mm.
when people who know me and who stick around with me, they appreciate me. Because like
Yeah.
if you didn't like me, you wouldn't be anywhere near me because I can, oh my God, like my energy, it really fills an entire room. So there's no way you can
Hmm.
escape from my energy once you are in that vortex. So the people who know me, I know that they like me because it is so easy to just like, stay the hell away from me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the people that I trust to be in my music videos just by sheer virtue of them, being in my space, which is definitely not for everyone. But then when they pick strangers, and like, I I didn't say anything beforehand, but then when I realized that like strangers just don't have the same reaction to me, I tell them, you know what, I'm very wary of other people because they're not like you. They haven't known me, they haven't stuck with me. Like it's
Mm.
okay, this person's okay. But that's just based on their opinion. They have no idea how the person
Yeah.
feels when they're with me. And
Hmm.
this was a time when someone actually asked permission. So that, it still got, yeah, there has never been a stranger who has entered my shoot who has like, shown complete, respect. It's strange because
Hmm.
when it's not my shoot, there are those people who do like really support me and take care of me. But when I'm in the spotlight, when I'm the one in charge of everything, that's when people are disrespectful
Yeah.
because they don't believe
My
somebody
my
deserves that.
my idea about that, because I rarely agree to
Mm-hmm.
those arrangements, because what I do, if I'm spearheading something, and let's
Mm-hmm.
say I'm getting you,
Yeah.
and you tell me like you're bringing in someone like one of your
Mm-hmm.
people, I most of the time I will refuse.
Yeah.
For me, like I don't know, like maybe it's a little paranoia on my part, but I think it's a power structure thing.
Exactly.
Like if
Exemplified by
yeah,
what
like
happened
you
with
have
me in that production assistant.
yeah,
It's
like
like, you
it's
know,
going to
you
be
are under
them
them,
against
then
you
they
now.
want to have their own kingdom of people that they can control. And those people can
Yeah,
easily go against you because they're in the
exactly.
majority. Yeah.
So like you, I only work with handpicked people, but those are handpicked individuals, because I
Yeah.
can't like from a management standpoint, you don't want them uh going with because I don't want to be like fascist about it, but I don't want them going with their own plans, because there's a
Mm-hmm.
bigger plan at work here, and
Exactly.
it's my
Exactly.
plan, it's my project. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happened to
So
me every time. So like
mhm,
just because like even if I say no, it's you don't take no from a woman the same way you take no from a man. But they're like, but please,
mhm,
it will help you. So they're basically like, threatening not to do the production anymore unless they have that. They can't do it.
without the
So I
yeah,
kind of don't
it's
have a choice because we had already, and what I hate is that they always do it along like, at the very last minute. It's like and in
like a
retrospect, I
couple of days
think they've been
before the show.
planning it
Yeah.
all along. So I've been talking with them
Yeah.
individually. Then they're going to say, "Oh, there's just one thing. Can I bring all of my people with me?
Mm.
I really can't do it without all of my people."
Yeah.
And then like, we've already been building up to all that time. And like I literally cannot. I do not have the time or the funds to redo this with a better person. So I have to. So I've been caught up every single one of my music videos. I've been caught up in a bad situation
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, and like,
But like you're done with all 13, right?
I am done with all 13 and like
Okay.
it's you are probably the only person who like said said that like,
Yes.
I had such a beautiful vibe about it. If it wasn't like if it wasn't like the people who came late and like just didn't take it seriously, they probably thought I had a good
Yeah.
vibe about it. But other people, they're like, like they said that they were just like, oh my God, they didn't expect that it would be the case that I would actually
Mm.
call something out. They thought I would just be, oh my God, thank you so much, guys. You're my fairy godmother. So it's like they everybody did have this expectation for me just to be smiley and take it all
Yeah.
in when you guys are basically like, colonizing my party. This is my party. Then you bring
Hmm.
in all of your people. Then you like, don't uh don't do what you said you would do for the production. And then now that I'm complaining about it, you have like you have the guts to like say that you have no right to say anything about it because we've been doing this for you. When it's like me just like trying to damage
Yeah.
control everything. So
Okay. So I asked if you finished all 13, because like now hearing all those stories,
mhm.
uh, is there a video or videos of those among those 13 that you've done wherein you think that the output wasn't as good because of the behavior of the people you worked with?
I hate them all, every single one of them.
Really?
Like, yeah, I do. But like,
Okay.
when you're an artist, it's like you don't throw away like broken stuff because artists are
Yeah.
broken. That's why we make this. It's like
Hmm.
we are the sum of our broken parts,
Yes.
and we make mosaics out of it. So it's
Hmm.
like I understand like why nothing ever like happened the exact vision that I wanted it to happen with because
Hmm.
I was not able to prevent people from oppressing me because like either I was too kind or like I expected the best from people or like these people
Hmm.
just like really, you know, they were really threatening to like, just ruin everything for me, which, it wouldn't have mattered either way because they did ruin everything. But like, with
Yeah.
these experiences, like that's when I see that like I can be like you, I can be that guy. Like I can just
Mm.
like, speak my mind and not give a fuck because like they're gonna screw you over either way. It's best that you just like,
Yeah.
find the people who won't screw you over even though
Uh-huh.
yeah. So it's like even though each music video is broken in its own way, it's part of the
Hmm.
story. It's like the story of how I made that music video as my own art form, you know? And
Mm.
like I will definitely be talking about it again one day because like all of those music videos are puzzle pieces of one bigger thing, which I won't talk about just
Yeah.
yet. But like you, if
Uh-huh.
you know, you can you can tell how they've been following each decade, and these it's not just the story within the music video, it's also my story outside the music video of how like I grew and how I went through my own hardships. So that is a story in
Mm.
itself. So it's like I never like, I never blame life for throwing these things at me. I just make art out of it. So you'd
That's
best
good.
believe I
Yeah.
will make art of all these shitty experiences.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking forward to whatever you produce next.
Yeah.
Um, but speaking on that, like, do you have plans of producing new things, whether it's a song or a new video, or well, what's on the horizon for you?
I definitely do, but it's all under construction because first I have to like
Hmm.
repair all of this damage that happened. Because like obviously, if people are capable of doing all of this to me, there has to be like a reason why that happens. So one thing
Yeah.
I found out is I don't have any contracts. It's all like trust, and there is no such thing
Yeah.
as trust in the Philippines. If there is no
Yeah.
pain of punishment, people will just like they don't want to
Yeah.
commit to anything. They don't want to take responsibility for anything. Second is I'm just incredibly like I'm a lot more choosy because like in the pandemic I had to act out of desperation because like there were only so many people
Hmm.
who were willing to get into a place full of people with noses and
Yeah.
mouths
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
could carry the disease. So I
Uh.
really had limited choices, and that's really the reason why those people were able to manipulate me the way they have because they know I didn't have many other
Mhm.
people to look for. But now that like, the world has gotten used to doing everything online, I actually find creatives from other countries who actually do their
Mm.
job, and the pay is not
Yeah.
like significantly more expensive. So now
Oh
now
yeah.
I'm
Yeah. That's
actually
true.
like working with those people. Like I'm paying white people and they submit to me.
Gotta
Yeah,
love
so
it.
like art of body bending has always been a movement. It's a body of movement.
Hmm.
So anything I do, whether
Hmm.
singing, dancing, it's always about my body because the body is always censored. It's always controlled, to be a certain way. So it's always about my body, like breaking those boundaries. Because you control people with bodies. These bodies are
Hmm.
hungry, so you can control them with money. So they do what you want for their salary. These bodies are horny, so it's like you can shame them for their sexuality so they don't come in with their full autonomy just to slay the world because a lot of people are insecure about that. So because my body is so important, I really need to like recover on the physical side of things because doctors are not helpful. Like they think you're way too young, you're way too athletic, you're injured. I don't believe that. So, it's when my own strength goes against me because
Yeah.
like it's like, do I have to act? Do I have to put together like an Oscar winning performance for you to believe that I'm in pain? It's actually a huge problem for
Yeah.
women and like, all over the world who experience chronic pain and like they're just told it's all in your head or it's like a hormonal thing. So
Hmm.
along with my body, it's like I'm psyching my body up to do like my greatest body of work so far. So along with
Mm.
that, like building up together my body, I'm also building up together like my team from like all corners of the world. Who exactly do I want to be able to do this dance videography for me? Because like the hugest problem
Mm.
with all of my music videos is I work so hard doing all of those dances and like only 10% of the dances in the actual video. So that's
Ah, yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, everything was really supposed to be on brand. Like
Hmm.
like even if I am saying and I'm telling a story, I'm still somebody who's moving her body in unexpected ways. So like,
Yeah.
I go through choreography, I rehearse all of that dance, and then for them just to like close up on my crotch when I'm doing splits. It's just like all of that work that I did for myself, it was
Yeah.
just like appropriated by them for nothing. And then like, I had this videographer that was like, can you do it again? Can you do it again? Can you do it again? And it was one of my very first time shooting a dance video. So I'm like, okay, whatever it takes
Like,
to get the shot. And I'm
mhm.
explaining to him, the shot should look like this, the shot should look like this. But throughout the, like, I did around 25 takes of like the same contortion pose, which is difficult. I'm doing it up in
Oh,
the air, upside down, like engaging
mhm.
all my muscles. And people don't realize how much work that takes. Like, even if it's like a 5-minute dance routine, it's like that's already your energy for the whole entire day. And I was asked to do it like
Yeah.
25 times,
Oh
26
my God.
times. Yeah, and I was
I
still
know what you're
directing and
saying because
producing all of it and singing and acting. Yeah.
yeah, I
So,
remember because whenever I see you like post something on Instagram,
mhm,
like in a post, like
mhm.
I feel tired looking at
Yeah,
it. Like my muscles hurt when I watch
it's
you.
not a joke. And I'm
So
professional. So it's like,
mm,
with all of with all of these people who don't even know me staring at me, it's important for me to
mhm.
be a professional and like continue to do it. But like what they don't realize is that's something that should not be done to a human body. I'm already putting myself in a compromising position within a compromised
Yeah.
position, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And people just don't respect that because they just want somebody to like, tantalize them with magic tricks. But once they figure out
Mhm.
that you're human, you have limits, it's like they disrespect you for it. And then, so
No.
yeah, seriously, like I was already shaking by the 25th take. And
Yeah.
by the time I was shaking at the 25th take, that videographer's girlfriend who stared at me as if I was some sort of mannequin that she was gonna buy clothes from started
Okay.
laughing. She was like laughing so hard. It's like
Because you were shaking?
because I was shaking. It's like she was waiting so long
Jesus
for that
Christ.
moment for me to show some sort of like weakness or whatever. So
Hmm.
it's just like it's not just a performance for the
That's
camera, it's my performance for everybody else who was brought into that music video just not getting it.
yeah.
So with other music videos, yeah, I've told you that I've been asked to strip naked. With other music videos, when I do my dance over and over again,
Mm.
I have hecklers, like, I ask the talent to come and like he brings his +1 and +2 and they're saying, oh, she's already
Yeah.
tired. She's already tired. And it's like I'm doing the
Okay.
same thing at the same level over and over again. And they want me to be tired so bad
Yeah.
because they feel so inferior.
Yeah,
So
they wanna see you fail.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a thing. It's
exactly.
it's human nature. Like no
Yeah,
one
exactly. And
likes to
when you
see
have
other
people
people
all
succeed.
around you trying to see you fail, it's not something you ever want to do, even though you already are injured and shaking.
Mhm.
So I did do it for that guy 26 times, and all the shots that he took of were
Fuck.
my ass when I was doing a split and a
Oh,
backbend at the same time.
not even like the entire, because that was the point. Like you have
There
to
was a
show me
safety
like
shot.
the
There was
entire
one
thing. Yeah.
safety shot where
Uh,
everything was there, and it was
okay.
basically a Hail Mary attempt to like edit the video and still show the actual contortions. So like, there was
Hmm.
this really nice woman and she heard about what I went through and she's like, "Don't worry, I will fix this for you." And she has experience in pole dancing. So it's like she knew the
Mm.
right moves to take. It's rather specialist. It's a specialist niche for videographers to understand dance,
Hmm.
especially with the male gaze, because you almost can't blame a person who's never been exposed to dance to take a shot of your
Yeah.
tits, because like that's all they know. So after doing all of this, I realized there are really not enough people in the Philippines for all the concepts that I want. So
Yeah.
I really cast my net much wider and went abroad. So now, like, I'm searching for the right people now that I have the luxury to have the right people. Like, I wasn't in a rush to complete some form of work already because, and even if it's not exactly what I wanted, I did get what I wanted. I understood that
Hmm.
it was the pandemic. There were these creatives who really, really needed work. So, like, they would be
Yeah.
willing to take on a smaller project. And the world stopped. It's not like I would be competing with these other acts because, like, they were all stuck at home, depressed and broke because they put all of their money on
Yeah.
gigs. That's why I always have a day job because I understand the risks. So, like, I'm able to, like,
That's
yeah, the only
that's
reason why I'm
also a
able to
reason why
find this work. Mhm.
I never book artists that don't have day jobs.
Exactly, exactly.
Because yeah,
They
because
don't get it.
if that was their,
Yeah.
yeah, if that was their own, like
Mhm.
if it was their only source of
Mhm.
income,
Yeah.
they tend to be those are the types of people that would most likely torpedo your project if things aren't going for them. Like they feel
Exactly.
like they could
They're
earn
actually
more,
so
and
panicked. They're actually so
yeah,
panicked about money, but obviously they won't tell someone that they're panicked. They're going to be like
yeah.
all like aggressive about it. So it's like it was the pandemic and I didn't really have money for like swab testing. It cost
Mhm.
60,000 pesos for 5 people.
Yeah, man. Fuck
That's
that.
not
Mhm.
money I have, But
Yeah.
the person that I got as a talent was insistent that like if you want to put me and my face, there better be testing or else I'm not doing it. And it's just so strange because he had already been doing the rehearsals and he waited until last minute to tell me
Yeah.
this.
Like he
Yeah.
fucking wasted your time and
Yeah, exactly. And like
now.
he was he was like so paranoid about it. So I did get the testing just for him. And he did show up.
Mm.
And then like it's like he would message me. It's like if anyone public is there and like I'm there, you better pay my medical insurance, like making these demands. But
Jesus Christ.
the
Yeah.
time he comes to the shoot, he's talking to street children. He's like clapping people on the back.
Uh-huh.
He was sharing his
A
weed with
cigarette?
somebody else. Yeah,
Wow.
and it's like, wow, this was all just like, I don't know
It's
why he
just
did
a
this. It was all a
they
power
just
trip.
wanted to feel like a big man. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, and like because he was so adamant about it, like me as the production manager as well, like I had to be very
Mhm.
strict about people coming near. So if people, it was a food court. It was a food court that we were shooting in.
Hmm.
So and they had promised that they would like cordon off like one area of the food court for us. But for some reason there
Okay.
were still people like, eating there. So I told them you can't go here. This is a shoot. And
Yeah.
because I said that in that firm tone, uh,
Hmm.
and the concessionaires of the food court were not made aware. They were not made aware that like there was a shoot at this time and they had to leave at this time. So because they thought they could sell until they sold out and that's when they could go home. They didn't need it at a certain time. And they thought that their patrons could just sit anywhere, even if they had been told.
Okay.
So it's like
Oh my
unless
God.
there's like, a pay like a consequence of like they're gonna lose their jobs, they're going to say, "Oh, I just thought this, I just thought that." And once they saw that
Yeah.
I had like made people not go there, they felt like, "Oh, my sales are being squandered by this woman." They just got
Hmm.
so mad that like I wasn't like, "Sorry, please, 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 can you please not
Uh-huh.
do that?" Like they decided not to leave. So like I
Okay.
like an entire like music video that was supposed to be shot like without the people in their stalls. There were like food park
Hmm.
stalls all over the place, and it was like this 1930s big band, like
Yeah. Uh-huh.
rustic kind of thing. Yeah, so it was like the
How did you
only
fix
way
that? What was your workaround?
I had to pay them off. They had like hostage. We're not going
Fuck.
to leave until you pay us the certain type of money, and I'm just like, what the fuck, guys? Okay, go
Yeah.
get out. Yeah,
Oh my
but
God.
and it was all because like the production, there was an actual production manager who was supposed to handle
Hmm.
that. So there was this like, it was a team of people. Like I only ever just need one person because I'm just one person and I can work independently.
Yeah.
But that one person brings their entire horde of people, so they get some money, so they get, and
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like the production manager was late because she came from like a spontaneous road trip to some beach where she could go like have sex and stuff. And she comes in like
Oh
two
my
hours
God.
late. And turns out she never
Is
coordinated
this person
anything.
a friend of yours or?
Yes, she was my best friend. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So like,
How did
when
that what
mhm,
happened after? Are you
yeah.
still friends?
No, the only reason why I
Okay.
got her as a production manager in the first place is because one of the cameramen, who also knew her, said, "Oh, we don't want any micromanaging. Let's avoid any micromanaging. So get your friend. She's the one who's gonna talk to everyone." And then I'm
Mm.
like, super involved, even if it's not my job, just because I want to make sure everything's
Yeah.
going well. So I asked her, How is it going?" And then she's like, "Oh, everything's taken care of. They understand." But she never talked to them. So like that's the problem
Uh,
with like and this I take it now that this guy just said don't micromanage. So I would just allow them to have their fun and chill and not do their full job because I would like be
yeah.
aware of like everything that's going on. So it's like, if somebody works for you says, "I don't want any micromanagement here." That's a red
Mhm.
flag, guys, by the way. Yeah. And they would
It
always
is.
ask me for the money, like the full payment, before they would start shooting. They say that that's protocol. So by the time I,
No, it's
I pay
not.
them all the money,
No,
I can
it's
never get
not.
it back. And they fuck up
Yeah.
all of these things. And I just feel really powerless.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
exactly.
I was still somewhat able to get them to do what I wanted them to do, but like it really put a bad taste in their mouths that I would
Hmm.
assertively tell somebody to leave my set. Like they
Yeah,
were
yeah,
all
yeah.
pissed because somebody like me should never say anything like that to a working class person. What I don't even get it. That woman probably
It's fucked up. Yeah.
that woman probably makes more than what I make because I just work minimum wage. Yeah.
And it's terrible. Like that entire story is like fucking. It pisses me off because one, you trusted your best friend
Mm-hmm.
to take care of this for you because, I mean, like this is your best friend.
Yeah.
She should be able to recognize that this project, it's your baby. You
Yeah.
know, like
Exactly.
like, even if it wasn't important to her,
Mm-hmm.
she should realize that you're important to her. So what's important
Yes.
to you should be handled with that level of care. And
Yeah.
then your camera people, like it's I mean, nobody does that. Like you have to pay us in advance. Like that's insane. Like ideally, like if
They
it's a
were the ones
day
who
shift or
suggested it. Just like they're like, uh, we understand that you're so mad. You guys shouldn't leave. But hey, we have this idea. Why don't you ask for a huge sum of money? Would that be okay? So it was
mm,
almost like the entire venue went into cahoots against me.
it's it's fucked up. It's fucked
Yeah.
up. And yeah,
Yeah.
again, you're correct in being picky with the
Mm-hmm.
people you work with moving
Exactly.
forward because it's apparently like fucking like even your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I have similar experiences where like people who I thought were my friends would
Yeah.
just shit on
Mm-hmm.
things that are
Exactly.
important to me,
Exactly. And
things that they know I'm
yeah.
passionate about. Yeah,
Yeah, we're artists, so it's like you can never totally remove the personal from the professional. Because like this is
yeah,
like it's like a wedding. Every time I make a music video, I always feel like I'm walking into my wedding. Because like this is
yeah.
my grand
It's
debut.
your
This
day.
is
Yeah.
where I show the
Mm-hmm.
world who I am. It's my day. I sacrifice so much for this, only for
Mm-hmm.
someone like what's weird is like brides never get that during their weddings that somebody just decides to be completely disrespectful because they understand,
Yeah,
they understand how it feels because that bride is probably a normal person. A wedding is a normal thing. But an
yeah.
artist
It's a
who made a music
socially
video, they just
accepted thing.
can't
Yeah.
relate to it. And that's why they
Mm-hmm.
think, they find it upon themselves to entertain themselves by just like throwing rocks on the whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Okay. Wait.
13
Mhm.
failed weddings.
But yeah, I will go through. It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it is.
All 13. So I'm gonna
Yes.
go through all of that. I hope you
Yes.
put it in like in a playlist so I can watch them in order.
Yeah, I do have a
But
playlist. Yeah, I will link you
oh,
to it.
cool. Yeah, thank you.
And
But now
this
like
is not the last you've seen of my music videos because they are broken, they are shattered, but an artist always takes those shattered pieces and makes them into a mosaic. And you will see what that looks
yeah,
like very soon.
and I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
that. So before we go, like I want to say this, like again, I said this at the top of the show. I
Yeah.
do admire what you do. Like you and I are
Oh,
totally different people. We have like
yeah.
two different. We're walking two different paths of art, but we do have similar. Like I'm passionate with my projects the same way as you are. Probably not as much because I rarely see someone as passionate as you, and I admire that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I hear the things that you've gone through, and just know that for whatever it's worth, I'm personally rooting for you. I'm
Oh,
looking forward to whatever you output you produce in the next few or several years. Until you decide to stop doing it, I'm gonna be here, like cheering you on, and I won't be able to help with the dance stuff because
no.
I have two bad knees and I can't. Even if I had healthy knees, I can't dance for shit. But
Yeah.
anytime you need me for anything, I'll be there,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you don't have to pay me in advance.
I think we
Oh,
are
well,
like, our place within the industry is a pretty good place because now that we've
mhm,
seen all of this, it's almost like we've been through hell and back. And we're
yeah,
kind of like walking between two worlds because like we're, the rare breed that's able to juggle like a day job and become a full-time producer at the same
yeah,
time. So it's
hmm
like I think this is a better place rather than like climbing for status in those places because they're built up from that foundation. So I'm like in a sense like we're one of
true.
the lucky ones because we have seen the foundation and we realize we want to build something better than this. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
Mhm.
I used to be like in full, creator mode back when I
Yeah.
was writing for
Mm-hmm.
television and
Mm-hmm.
doing all of that. And like for me, from a creative standpoint, I just decided like I can't do this full time. I tried
Mm-hmm.
it for like several years,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted something separate. I wanted a day job so I can have, especially for me, 'cause I'm a comedian. So I
Yeah.
need that normalcy, so I
Exactly.
have something to write about. Because
Yes.
I remember feeling like I was starting to get out of touch,
Oh yeah.
because all I knew was the art, the comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how what the normal person goes through. So I
Exactly.
still need that particular aspect. So yeah, I'm very happy now with what
Mm-hmm.
I do. I am going to be like, and I'm not bullshitting you. Like after this conversation, I actually am more motivated to do the regular, like the shows, go back to
Oh,
doing shows again
yeah, I think that's
regularly.
what we need
You're
to do.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, like we
Yeah.
need to keep doing what we're doing so we don't, because if we don't do anything about it, if we just stay silent about it, or like we just allow ourselves to be pushed to the side, like that culture will be perpetuated. So it's like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have an entire Philippines already saying, "Don't be that guy too." So it's really
Yeah.
important that we stay here, that we stay badass, that we stay
Yeah.
fighting, because there's more
Mhm.
people like us too. If you guys are watching, and like
Yeah.
if they know, when if they see somebody with like the same experience, like it helps them think that they're not alone, they're not like just gonna be silenced. So it's like, to find like the right people, you have to really like
Mhm.
say what you're about, and like not accept any of this, or else you're just perpetuating the same culture, which is
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to know like the apocalypse that will ensue if that keeps
Yeah.
going. Yeah,
We
so it's
should
up
never
to you.
settle. Basically, we don't settle for less,
Yeah. Yeah. So how do
especially
you
if it
choose the
involves
right
our art.
people?
That's the tricky part. Because sometimes you have to take risks.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people, like when you converse with them, they seem like they're cool
Exactly.
about those things, and then
Yeah.
come like when it's time to roll, that's when they show like they're not exactly the person that they depict them as.
Exactly.
So my rule of thumb is that I always look within my circle,
Mm-hmm.
but I always make sure that it's not entirely my circle. I always
Yes.
reach out to people I've never worked with before, or
Yeah.
basically I have conversations with them without bringing up a project. I would
Mhm.
just have conversations with them,
Yes.
because if you talk to someone and they know that you're trying to produce something,
They
they would
will
be
like
putting on,
kiss your
yeah,
ass. Yeah. They want to be
yeah.
picked.
So,
It's
so
almost
I
like
just,
going on a date and saying you want a relationship. Of course, they're gonna like, make you feel
of
like it's
course, but all they want
yeah.
is. So basically, I just try to socialize more.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned you being an introvert. I actually believe that because I am as well, and no one believes
Yes.
me.
Yes. The only reason why we're able to put
Yeah,
out this much is that we preserve our energy.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's one thing that I do. Like when it comes to like selecting
Mhm.
people, I never tell
Yes.
anyone what my plans are. So I just talk to as many
Exactly.
people as I can.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if they fit, because you see them, they're being honest, and then yeah, you take that risk. But that's the
Mhm.
thing, you take a risk. Like, and
Yeah,
also
you
like
never really
it's
know
always,
until it happens.
yeah.
And it's just
Mhm.
like a
And
point of like keeping yourself going, and like kind of building that radar that like, yes, these are the right people. Like
yeah,
it's
man,
a
like
it's a sense of
assemble
get
your team.
stronger over time. Like
Mhm.
how would you stop yourself from being that guy? Because like you're surrounded by these people, and it's like how and I think it's not exactly easy for us to be that guy, because like principles are principles. Once you have that,
Yeah.
it's like you can get caught up in somebody's, bad influence for a while, but like you always go back to who you are if you
Uh-huh.
do have that essence. But like was there ever a time where like you almost went to the dark side, so to speak?
Yeah, because the thing that I never like when I was starting out as a
Mhm.
producer, one thing I never really took into account was ego,
Yes.
because people have certain egos wherein like, because I've worked with people that I've fought with,
Mm-hmm.
because like I would tell them that what they're doing is wrong, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I call them out, and they would get pissed, and it would turn into a
Okay.
fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then like we eventually make up, and I've heard this a lot. They would tell me like, okay, I knew you were right, I just didn't like how you were saying it,
Mm.
and then that's my thing. Like it's not
Yeah.
really like you don't have to like how I say things. We
Yeah,
were working.
exactly. Yeah.
Like I'll apologize later with how I may have conducted
Mm-hmm.
myself, but
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, we do our jobs, and if you're doing something wrong, I have to call it out because time is a luxury.
Yes.
Um, and it's yep, and that's the thing. Like I said, it's ego.
Mhm.
So I generally I don't just look for talent or skills. I
Mhm.
also look at that, like what type of ego does this person possess?
Mhm.
Because if it's someone that like has a certain behavior that can't deal with criticism or instruction, or because
Yeah,
they
you're
think
just
they're
not gonna
above
work with
all of
you.
that. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. So it's that. That's why dealing with strangers is, and if you're unsolicited advice, I guess, like if you're heading something, uh, it's you mentioned earlier, like you were trying to not censor yourself, but basically subdue certain things. I don't know, man. I think you should just go. If you feel the need to call someone out, just go for it. Call someone out, regardless of their reaction, because that's also how you filter out the good ones, like
Exactly.
how they
Like how
react.
will they react
Yeah,
to criticism? But just make
yeah.
sure
And
that
like
like
you as a leader, like
yeah.
if they can deal with how
Mhm.
you manage people,
Yeah.
then
Mhm.
they're definitely keepers.
Yeah. As long as they don't have all of my money in their pocket. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and that too. Like pay them at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
It still is a business at the end of the day. So just like any
Yeah.
business, you need your contract, you need your
Yeah.
you need your documentation of what's yours, and you need to have a plan B. Because like the shit can get
Hmm.
nasty out there. Yeah. But like
That's
how do
true.
you stay like, how do you still keep making it after making art after all this time? So you don't, you'll never be that guy, but like what is it that always keeps you like, in that place?
Uh, it's what do you mean? Like, how do I keep making art despite after all of these years?
No, like
Uh,
how do you stay being true to who you are? Like never
oh, yeah.
like, you never ever like retaliated
It's
or like,
it's actually like a big part of me being staying this way
mhm,
was going indie. Because
yeah.
I left the TV network, I
Uh-huh.
left the big time comedy groups,
Mhm.
so I struck it out on my own because now I don't have to play politics. I don't have to be
Exactly.
nice.
That's what I did as
Yeah.
well. So that's a huge reason why like I don't post a lot. It's because it is a system also of like people connecting to each other. So I connect with people I want to connect with now, like, on the low
Yeah.
key. So no one like,
Mhm.
steps in and messes that up. And once I do reach my goals, you're just gonna see it online. I don't
Yeah.
have to
So
keep it
it
posted.
works. Like it's beneficial to an artist, not just on creative level, because
Yeah.
without people overseeing your work, you basically put out what you truly like want to be put out there.
Yeah.
It's also beneficial on a personal level because again, it's
Um,
you being honest with your craft, because
Yeah,
that's
and
what
it
art
can
is, right? Like
happen.
you're
Like,
expressing who you
here we
are. Yeah.
are doing it. Like we're able to produce our own art. We're not at the mercy of some huge label or network to do it.
Hmm.
And like we've learned to become independent enough so we don't have to rely on everyone else also. Yeah, like I'm
That's
learning how
true.
to
Yeah.
edit and produce videos right now. So it's like you're gonna see
Yeah.
that in action sometime.
I am looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Bye
yeah,
bye.
okay. I think I'm a little out of time. I have to
Yes.
go somewhere.
Me
But like,
too.
do you have any last words before we end this? Not just for me,
No.
but for like the people watching.
No, they have to wait and see what happens next.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like everyone else, or most people probably, like we're all looking forward to what you produce. So thank you for this, AOB, Carla. Thank
Thank
you
you. Thank you,
for this
Rene.
conversation. It does, and I meant it. This did inspire me more to once again get the personal projects going.
Of course, and you
Because
inspired me as
yeah,
well. Like thanks for doing this with me because like we all need that
of
like little connection with somebody who went through similar things to show us that like we're on the right track. All of us.
yes,
We're
we
all on the
are.
right track,
Yeah.
guys.
Mhm. All right. So thank you, Carla, and thank you everyone for watching. I hope someone out there got something from this. If not, well, not really a problem. But yeah, but thanks. Thank you. Thank you. I
Bye.
really enjoyed this. Bye.
Bye.